gotta be honest with you, man. I have a bad taste in my mouth for Christian churches that guilt-trip people into giving them money.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I used to sit in the back row and they'd hand those plates around collecting, what is it they call it?
Tithes and offerings.
Yeah, I felt so embarrassed when the plate would come around and I never had enough money to feed my boy, let alone give money to the church. And all the people around me with their glaring eyes, making sure they dropped their coins loudly into the plate to show that they were more godly than me or something. I hated it so much.
I bet, and I suppose it was hard for you to see the heart of God in that.
Yeah, I even had a pastor tell me if I wanted to be a member, I had to be giving 10% of my monthly income to the church. Said I was stealing from God by holding back my tithes. And so I did for a while.
And
I couldn't afford it. I was taking care of my dad at the time, got behind on bills, maxed out some credit cards. I really believed God was going to bless me for being faithful that way, but nothing ever happened.
Well, I'm sorry you had that experience. I'll say this, that pastor was wrong to enforce a 10% tithe from you.
But he had all the Bible verses to support it.
Yeah, well, he's quoting Old Covenant law out of its context. 10% was required of Israel to give to the Levite priests. That is not a commandment for Christians.
Really?
Tithing is not mandated in any New Testament epistle. When Peter, James, John, and Paul were preaching in front of these congregations around the world, and they were getting this message of Christ out there, wanting it to thrive and stay sustained, don't you think they would have reestablished a 10% tithing at least once in their letters? Especially to Gentiles who knew nothing of Jewish law. Christians are under a new covenant. We're not bound by the law. Paul says that each of us should give what we have decided in our hearts to give. But here's the key. He says, give not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver.
Okay.
So giving to a church isn't about meeting a 10% standard. Your church should be preaching the true gospel, the true Jesus. And if they focus on that and do that right, when sinners are saved by God's amazing grace, they celebrate by having cheerful and giving hearts. They want to invest in God's kingdom.
So it doesn't matter how much we give?
No. God sees your motivation. If you're giving just to earn his favor or to be blessed, then you're not giving from your heart in the first place. Use the freedom that grace has given you to give cheerfully and generously. Not because you want blessing or something in return, but because you've been changed and you really want to see others changed by that same gospel.